What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best. And in today's video, I want us to take a look at the 2xKO Alpha Lab dev chat that was posted to the 2xKO YouTube channel about 6 days ago as of the recording of this video. I'm not sure exactly when you're seeing this. I'm a little bit late to the party with this, but I wanted to record myself watching this because I figured they'd probably have some good things to say that would be worth listening to for myself and also for you guys. And if you guys hadn't heard it, then you'll hear it here. And also, I have a feeling that they're going to say some things that I will have some thoughts and opinions on and things that I want to comment on as well. I figured it might make for a decently interesting video. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Turn the volume down just a little bit.
All right, cool. What's up, everybody? I am Jules,
because that was pretty loud.
Community manager of 2xKO, and we're joined by...
I'm Sean. I'm the game director.
Yeah, so we wanted to just talk to everybody because there's been a lot of really good feedback and discussion about 2xKO, the Alpha Lab, right?
Absolutely.
So let's get into it. I have my phone here because we have all of the notes and things we want to talk about. Yeah, this is very off the cuff. So
also, I think I'm going to be doing a dedicated video where I give basically my impressions of the Alpha Lab, my likes, my dislikes, and everything like that. But that'll probably be a separate video, even if I touch on that a little bit in this one.
Let's talk about all the highlights of Alpha Lab, all the good stuff going on.
First of all, thank you all for giving a ton of really cool clips. I've been seeing a lot of content, a lot of folks streaming, a lot of cool events.
Yeah, I streamed a ton
seeing a lot of
during
love.
this alpha.
I've been really impressed at the duo play that I've been seeing.
Yeah,
you know, people pairing up, people onboarding their friends.
Yeah, especially with Sonic and K7. They went on like a 100-game win streak, really, which was nuts.
Really cool to watch.
There's been a lot of discussion around it too, and all of the feedback, which is what we really wanted to get from this.
Yep.
So a lot of it was around core gameplay. There's been discussions around how long the combos are, that there's touches of death, complexity.
The long combo discussion.
What is your whole take on this? I know you made a blog post.
It's kind of dumb to me, but we're gonna get on. We're gonna get to
know is that, you know, we're sharing this very early, right? And a lot earlier than you.
So I want to take note of that as well. They said that they're sharing this very early. They called it an alpha lab for a reason, even though like when you download it and I look at it on my console, it says beta. I feel like it's an alpha, and there were talks and people were telling me, and I didn't find the actual quote or clip or whatever, but people were saying that they said they want us to be a main game at Evo next year. I think we're still very far from this game being out, so I just don't imagine that's happening. I know it's only August right now, so there's still 4 months left in the year, and then Evo's probably going to be in what is it? Was it July, August? It's always in the summer, right? So we're almost a year away from the next Evo. I still don't think we're going to get the game in time for that to happen. Even if it were to release next year, I don't think it would be early enough for it to be a main stage like game at Evo and be in the arena and everything like that. The game is very clearly still early in its development. It's made a decent amount of progress since it's been announced, but
and I think the reason is we really wanted to see
it ain't coming out anytime soon,
so we could change it in time for release and just make it a better game. To that note, though, you know, we heard a lot of feedback that people were having a lot of fun with combos, but also that some of them, you know, for some characters and some specific routes, either were actually too long or just felt too long. You know, that's one of the things we want to address. We want to find that sweet spot where you're getting back to neutral and having fun there, but also you're rewarded for being able to practice and execute on some pretty cool stuff, not just by yourself, but often with a friend as well.
I believe you spoke to it in your blog about the tutorial.
Yeah, finding that middle ground is obviously a tender and delicate job, finding that perfect balance and stuff, especially when you're trying to create a game that is appealing to both hardcore fighting game fans and also casual players who may be Riot players or just have never played a fighting game before or only very lightly touched them. I will say though, I'm gonna go ahead straight up. My opinion is that if you're complaining about the length of the combos in this game, you're probably not a fighting game player. And if you are, have you seen Marvel? Have you seen Dragon Ball? Like, I don't think the combos in this game are any more OD than most other tag or like versus games that I've seen, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, they're like, this tutorial is pretty bare bones, and they've been like actually giving us a lot of thoughts around things they want to see in it. I think just to kind of reiterate a couple of those, at a high level, folks wanted to see some combo trials with their champions. They wanted to see actual like
I did the tutorial. That was the first thing I did when I opened up the alpha.
What should I be doing?
It is extremely bare bones and very short, but I just assumed that it was going to be more fleshed out and, you know, more in depth when the game actually releases, or at least gets to like further in the beta.
And so these are all things we're considering and looking into, and expect it to be a lot better in the next iteration.
I want to dig a little bit deeper into the touches of death and the overall complexity. Like, what are the thoughts around that with the team?
You know, we expected a lot of this. However, like, we wanted to see additional ways that people were digging into this. And what do I mean? What do I mean by that? Well, we just tuned the damage up. We want matches to go a little bit more quickly, be a little bit faster paced and a little bit more explosive.
Thank God, because my biggest complaint I think about the game is that the pace is a little bit too slow. On day one of the alpha, the FlyQuest hosted an exhibition, and it was a lot of fun watching and everything like that. It was hype, whatever, cool, but it felt like it dragged on pretty bad because matches felt like they were too slow. And honestly, I have lost so many matches due to timeout in this game because it just needs to be sped up. And then you might go, well, see, yeah, it's because combos are too long. Da, da, da. No. Because if there's so many ways that you can speed up the game, certain animations are too slow, like the fall speed is slow, and just like, you know, like I feel like if you give players more meter to burn through, like whether you can build 4 or 5 bars or whether you just build it faster and everything like that. I don't think that the matches being slow has anything to do with the combo length in terms of just like the number of hits or, you know, the number of specials and everything like that, or the scaling. It's something else entirely, because frankly, long combos should mean that the games are ending faster because you're doing more damage that much more quickly. You only need 1 or 2 touches to get the kill. So you think that the match would end faster, but it doesn't always work out that way.
But also, you know, when paired with, hey, 2 champions like hitting a single character, or some of our fuses like Double Down, which lets you combo
also,
super,
yeah.
super, or even
good luck
Fury,
if you're
which
playing
lets you,
Ari
you know,
fighting
get a
Darius
boost
Braum
of
using
extra
Double Down,
damage
bro.
and
Everything's a
more health.
TOD.
These are some of the things we expected to see. We definitely saw folks pushing on a lot of the outliers where they would use multiple Double Down super and supers in a combo, as well as like using multiple OTG like on the ground hits. And so it was great to see all this and hear feedback on it. Ultimately, just to underscore, we don't want the game to be about
I hope they don't get rid of
right?
OTGs or like touch that too much, because I think OTGs are
spend a
sick.
ton of resources and be rare, but if we're seeing them super frequently, it's something we want to address, and we're looking into that now.
I want to also ask you.
I will say, I've seen a total of 2, maybe 3 actual TODs in a match. It's not something that you're seeing super common. It's still early on in the game, so maybe it will become more common, obviously, as people optimize their routes. If they introduce more fuses that have anything to do with damage, you know, obviously with more assists being added, characters having different health values. As of right now, I don't think it's out of hand, but it could be one of those things that they have to nip in the bud before it does get out of hand.
You about the overall complexity of the game. There's been a lot
But
of
I don't know, man. I don't really have an
sides of
issue
people
too much with
loving
combos or
how
damage right now in the
punky it
game.
is, and then other people feeling that it's too hard to get into. What is your take on it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know, we talked a little bit about the pulse fuse and how we want to just get people to find the fun right away, hit some buttons, and we're seeing a lot of that. I think there's a little more we could do there as well. This actually kind of ties into onboarding and maybe unlocking moments later on.
I want to know if
they
plan on adding more fuses to the
you
game.
Can go
I think there's a lot that they could do with
experience,
that.
check out this champion, you know, see like how you can actually learn the routes from there. There's a lot of systems in this game. That's because we do want a deep game. We want like a crunchy, deep, like you can spend many hours in this game. And
Last
so
for years, right?
Yeah, and so like we also recognize like, you know, there's an opportunity for players to say like, hey, cool, let me get in here, let me hit some buttons and have some fun. Have a really clear path to the next step. We don't want people to be overwhelmed and see all that stuff right away. And so it's a fine line to ride, and it's something that we're working on
I
right
think
now.
if you're a fighting game player, it wasn't too much to handle, but I think there were a lot of people who excuse me, were either casuals or weren't fighting game players that are just like League of Legends players or whatever, that were definitely overwhelmed, because not only is this a new game with new systems, new mechanics, and it's pretty different from in its own way from other games that are similar to it. You also have to learn multiple characters. It's a tag game, and that alone, just the fact that I have to learn more than one character, can be very overwhelming for the people. I've seen people complain about or not necessarily complain, but you know, say the reason that they don't play games like Marvel or Dragon Ball or like KOF is because they have to learn 2 or 3 characters, and that's very off-putting for them and very difficult to do. And you know, there's ways of like dealing with that and like, you know, taking things step by step and learning how to like learn a game at your own pace. But
matchmaking and netcode.
At the start, it can definitely feel overwhelming.
People are like, "There's no matchmaking," but I feel like there's things going on under the hood that might explain it a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you select fight and you decide to invite a friend or not, you go into the lobby, under the hood, we're matching you up with folks of similar skill. We're also looking at a bunch of
there was
other,
some secret skill-based matchmaking in the alpha.
And seen a lot of feedback around folks getting matched with players in other regions with very high ping. And so this has been great because this has uncovered a lot more work we could do here. On top of that, though, I just want to be really clear. When folks are like, hey, like the matchmaking's not working, there's a lot of things that could be at play. Like we've also seen folks using pulse fuse versus folks that aren't early on, and those matches feeling very lopsided. And so that's one thing. I'll allude a little bit to some features that we wanted to get in that we don't have yet. One of them is we want to be able to
I don't
nudge you,
think it should necessarily be like if you play the pulse fuse, you only get matched up against other people who are playing the pulse fuse, but there maybe should be a little bit of bias there, because if somebody's playing pulse, because then you could abuse that, like somebody who doesn't like need pulse and is just a good player, but they're using it so they get matched up against scrubs so they can stomp them out.
We also are going to have a feature later where if you get really far beyond the bounds, it'll be like, hey, we want to get you in another lobby just to ensure that you have a better experience, and it will send you to a new one. But in absence of those, today, if you're playing in the Alpha Lab, if you feel like, oh man, I'm getting beat up a lot in here, like why is everybody a bunch of killers? Or hey, like this is getting a little bit too easy. Maybe your win streak's going too high, you know, too high in the sky. You can actually just leave the lobby and re-enter, and it will find you a more appropriate lobby. And so I strongly recommend that in the future. And then finally, like another thing that we're looking at is comeback potential. You know, matches can sometimes feel pretty lopsided, and so we're looking at last stand and seeing how well that's performing when it comes to comebacks, and you know, making the matches feel like you have a chance.
So are they
champ versus 2? So that's a lot of feedback we heard.
Are they considering adding more comeback mechanics?
Too, with so many people coming in, it takes some time.
But I don't think they need to do too much with that.
Naturalize as well.
Absolutely.
So TLDR, hop back in if the lobby's too hard, exit out and hop back on. Cool. So to dig in a little bit more into the netcode, I've heard and seen reports of really good matchmaking, and then
also the netcode
felt
felt pretty great for the most part. I played
on there?
Hundreds of matches throughout the alpha.
So first of all, that's one of the reasons we're doing this test.
I had very few bad experiences. There were a couple, but they were far and few between.
You know how folks are getting routed and what kind of experience they're having, and so it's something we're looking into actually right now. I don't have a specific answer for you, but I would just want to say like, hey, if anybody's experiencing like really weird connections or like super high ping, continue to let us know, because that actually lets us like dig in even further. We just want to make a really good, clean experience, and so the more info we can get and feedback from folks, the better.
Oh, this one, peripherals. There's been a lot of peripheral issues, but I heard from Little Bird that there's something cooking, that this is on our radar, right?
Yeah. So
like new controllers or something?
First of all, you know, we want to thank everybody for bearing with us on this. There's, you know, we've seen a lot of pain around folks being like, hey, I can't get this peripheral to work.
Oh yeah.
You know,
people were having like different
hey,
controller
like,
issues. I was playing on console. I think most people who were having different problems were playing on PC.
And so yeah,
I didn't really experience any problems.
Thanks to everybody that submitted tickets to player support, and please continue to do so, because that's helping us track everything, like what peripheral you're using, like were you playing on PC or on console. And so all this information, we're collating it, and it's something that we're taking very seriously and going to address.
Yeah, one thing that I want to point out too, because you mentioned player support, they've been absolutely amazing. If you have any connection issues, or if you're stuck on login, please reach out to player support. We've already had.
I need to look around and see if they sent out like a survey for providing feedback or anything like that.
So make sure to reach out to
for the alpha. I need to check my email and check
the
their
link
Twitter.
in the, I don't know, bio? We'll figure that out. Now that we've talked about peripherals, can we talk about the control scheme? Because I've seen people discussing, oh, I love it. Oh, I just can't get used to it. What is...
The control scheme for the most part is fine, I guess. But there's like two kind of big issues with like the skills. The skills really could have been one button, but like they made it two because they don't want to have motion inputs. And then like the assist. The biggest problem with the control scheme for me is the assist. I don't like having forward and an assist, or forward and tag being an assist and backward and tag being an assist, especially because like if I'm trying to go forward and I want to call an assist, but I want my back assist, I have to stop momentum. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really like that. I would rather just be able to map the buttons to how I want. And frankly, what I really want is just L1, L2 for, you know, forward assist and back assist, or just assist 1, assist 2, like it is in Dragon Ball, or like it would be in like any other game. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, not like it's in any other game, but I don't like the forward back thing. But that's just
like, as game director, what are you thinking when you see all of this?
Yeah, so we'll be the first to admit that we're trying something a little different. You know, having a special 1, a special 2 button, you know, our light, medium, heavy, and then our team button, it's definitely a really different feel. We've heard a lot of mixed reviews, folks that have never played fighting games, folks that have tried games, folks that go hardcore, even at pro level, give a lot of pros and cons, you know, about our current setup. Yeah. And so, you know, if you have thoughts, you know, I'd ask folks to keep letting us know. It's something we're keeping an eye on and monitoring. And yeah, I just want to acknowledge that we've heard a lot of discussion about it, and we want to keep an eye on it. And like one thing I wanted to ask is,
I think I just want more freedom with how I map my buttons and the controls.
You know, any kind of thoughts on, you know, their layout. We'd also love to hear what peripherals they're using, you know, because that makes a big difference as well.
For those who are curious, I just play on a regular
for your peripheral,
regular DualSense PS5 controller.
So let us know.
Another really big topic has been accessibility. I'm looking at your notes, and there's been really good notes from OGamer Sego, Aerial Combo, Blind Combat, and Kid Vision, who have been talking about it. Can you talk a little bit about the team's philosophy in regards to accessibility?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, a shout out to that group of folks and others who have hit us up about accessibility. We take accessibility very seriously. We want everybody to be able to enjoy 2XKO. And so we have some devs dedicated to this specifically. And I just want to call it, like, when the game comes out, it's going to be a bit bare bones in that regard. Yeah. However, we're going to continue to add features to that over time and make it better and better.
Overall, I'm very excited. I feel like the whole team's excited because this is working exactly how how we wanted it to work, right? Like this
Yeah.
is Alpha Lab in all of its glory of us learning so much about the game.
I can't say this enough. I know sometimes it could be hard to get your thoughts out there, and I really appreciate everybody hitting me up directly with feedback, with thoughts, suggestions, hitting up the entire team really, whether it's content you're making, streams, literally comments on like a YouTube video, you know, subreddit, you name it. Like we're everywhere, and so please keep
Wonder how many of them are watching my
What is your
videos.
perspective of taking in feedback, and how do we actually parse through it to make our decisions?
We often say here, and you probably hear me say it, that we're very data informed, not data driven. So, we're looking at the data, we're looking at the sentiment from players, we're looking at the player feedback, and we're playing the game, and we're watching and seeing what's happened.
Yeah, that's another thing too. The devs of 2xKO are pretty good at 2xKO. Like they were, like if you ran into Yohozi or Apology Man or Unconquerable or any of these guys, like they were, like people who are involved in the process of creating this game. They got hands, bro.
Crystal clear that like
they got
we're
hands.
not designing by committee, excuse me, but we are building this with the players, and what that means is that we're listening and we're taking that into account. We're not afraid to evolve our thoughts and our baseline assumptions.
Yeah, from everything that I've heard from you in the past, you definitely want to keep the depth, but you still want to hear what everyone's experiencing so we can find new ways to address it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Even the stuff we talked about earlier around like, a better onboarding or, hey, like matchmaking, players are telling us, hey, like we want to make it easier to have quality matches early on.
I wasn't too concerned about the matchmaking because I just assumed that, the full game would have
lines up with stuff we want to do
proper
anyway,
like matchmaking where I can go queue up, sit in training mode while I'm waiting, and things like that.
Though. And in those cases, we dig deeper and we talk through it and we figure out, what's really going on.
But that is still feedback that it should be given in case they haven't considered that, but I'm sure that they have.
Let some more people in. I've still seen fan art contests. A lot of people want to get in. So if they didn't get in this Alpha Lab, when is the next time that they're going to get a shot? When's the next playtest?
Great question. So as you would expect, like we're getting a ton of feedback, and there's actually a lot of stuff we want to change in order to improve the game. So there's going to be some time. We need a little bit of heads down time to get this stuff in and also test it. But boy, we've heard a lot of folks that are like, hey, like, is there another wave coming? Can I get in? So yeah. What if we just let some more folks in tomorrow?
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh yeah, so that's when they started dropping out all those extra codes.
Can I do this? Can we do this? Is it? Can we? Great.
Jared says yes.
All right. So everybody around me saying yes. So
in case you guys missed it, they gave a bunch of people like 200 codes apiece to give out to the communities and stuff. I was not fortunate enough to be blessed with 200 codes to give away to you guys. Otherwise, I would have definitely immediately done a video talking about it and given some away on stream and Twitter and stuff like that. But shout out to everybody who did get some and everybody who did get a chance to play. But yeah, they sent out a new wave of emails accepting people into the alpha, and then they gave out like hundreds of extra codes to creators to give away to their communities and stuff, and that was really
this
cool.
Will be the last wave.
I still don't really understand like the reasoning behind why they did it the way that they did it. It's no big deal though. I'm sure they had the reasons.
Alpha Lab, but yeah, we heard y'all. Many more people want to play, so why not? So be on the lookout for another wave.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. Everybody, remember to fill out your survey at the end of Alpha Lab, and we are still going to continue to monitor social media.
Gotta go fill out the survey.
Twitch,
I might
YouTube,
record
everywhere.
myself filling out the survey. I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in that.
Thank you.
But
Hit us up. Let us know what you think.
I think I will do that. That's going to do it today, ladies and gentlemen. That will be the video. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all of the awesome content that I'm bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.